Hello, and welcome to TLEW, the show where we summarise popular films in a very short amount of time. Today we're looking at the Prequel Trilogy, which is actually 3 films, so this one's going to be a little bit longer. Anyway, let's get into it. You put fucking sand in my drink. Fucking ate sand. So at the start of The Phantom Menace we have Liam Neeson. And we've got Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now they are flying to meet these guys. Oh shit. The Trade Federation. Where are they? They are on this starship. Okay? So these two have flown to meet these two on this ship. However, it doesn't go according to plan. These two send a bunch of these guys to kill these two in the middle of their negotiations. The reason, I haven't mentioned this yet, but the reason they're going to negotiate with these two is because they have their starship over the planet of Naboo. So they escape that because they are Jedi Knights and they're super cool. These guys are operating under the order of this guy. This guy we later learn is called Darth Sidious and he looks like a real nasty man. So these guys manage to escape the first assassination attempt and they go to the bridge of this space station to kill these guys, but they seal the doors. So Liam Neeson rams his lightsaber real deep in the door, so these guys call these guys to help. And they can't do anything against them because they have force fields. So they have to run away and they stow away on the ships that are currently landing on Naboo. So once they land on Naboo, they're separated. And Liam Neeson meets his new best friend, fucking Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks! I find myself extremely vexed by this character on a daily basis. So after that, they meet up with Obi-Wan again on the surface of Naboo. Jar Jar Binks won't leave them alone and is incredibly annoying. But he says that nearby there is a Gungan city, which is he's a Gungan. And then he immediately says, oh, I can't take you there, and then instantly changes his mind. So they go to the Gungan city. It's pretty cool, it's underwater, it looks orange. Everyone there looks inexplicably like Jar Jar. There's no difference except for the general who has like a moustache, and their leader, who they have a chat to. So they're all having a chat with Boss Nass, our big boy Boss Nass. Everyone loves Boss Nass, much less annoying than Jar Jar Binks. Liam Neeson uses a mind trick on Boss Nass to give them a ship, an underwater ship, to go to Naboo. So back on the space station, things are going well. They're planning an invasion. These guys, they're a bit unsure about it because they're worried about what the Republic will do. But this guy, the rogue guy's like, nah, don't worry. I got you covered, guys. It'll be fine. You just do it. So they just do it. So now the invasion's going well. The droids, these little bastards, have captured the Queen of Naboo, Queen Amidala. Oh no. But don't worry about it, because these guys, Liam Neeson and Obi-Wan, immediately save her with almost no consequences. Jar Jar is useless. He's over here. So as a group, they all decide they want to go to Coruscant. Coruscant. Because that's where the Republic is. And if anyone's going to help, it's going to be democracy. So these guys go to steal a ship. There's a bunch of droids surrounding the ship, but none of them really react as they steal the ship and they escape. Quite easily, in fact. Their ship gets a little bit damaged, but luckily R2-D2 is here to save the day and fixes up their ship. Their hyperdrive gets damaged, so they don't have enough fuel to get to Coruscant. But where do they go instead? Instead, they go to Tatooine. I'm not sure if you can tell because it's black and white, but that's Tatooine. So while they're flying to Tatooine, our old favourite friend Darth Sidious sends these guys a new best friend for them to hang out with. This guy's called Darth Maul. He's a Sith and he's going to help out with the invasion for these guys. So we'll just move on now to Tatooine. What's happening on Tatooine? Let's find out. Mostly child endangerment, I'll be honest with you. So Liam Neeson wants to go explore because they need parts to fix the hyperdrive. But the Queen does not want him to go alone. So she sends him with Padme, who doesn't always look like that. In this scene she looks a bit more modest, I suppose. But yeah, she's like a handmaiden who's going to go keep an eye on him. And he also takes R2 with him for no reason. And there's no other characters there, apart from this little shit. Jar Jar is still there. But so here's the thing. Here's one of the many logical inconsistencies of this film. Tatooine is a desert planet, and Jar Jar Binks is a Gungan who mostly lives underwater on Naboo. He should be fucking dead. So this little gang decide to head into town. Oh god, the wind. Where they meet this kid. It's Anakin Skywalker. And he's a slave. And this is his owner, Watto. So they meet these guys, and Liam Neeson finds out that Watto has the parts for the hyperdrive. So he tries to Jedi mind trick into giving him for free. But Watto's like, no. So now they realize they need to get the money. They don't have the money. So our good friend Anakin says, oh, I'm a pod racer. I can just enter the pod race and win you all the money instead of taking the money for myself. And they're like, cool, yeah, that's fine, nothing wrong with that, we'll just do that then. Before they do all that though, they go to Anakin's place and they meet C-3PO, who will be important later. They also meet his mum. Now, his mum and Liam Neeson chat for a bit about his dad. Turns out, he doesn't have a dad. His dad is the Force or whatever. So they take his blood, find out his midichlorians is crazy high, which means he's going to be great with the Force. So Liam Neeson's like, I'm going to fucking abduct this child if it's the last thing I do. So then the pod race happens. And it's really stressful, really intense, but Anakin wins in the end. And everyone there cheers for him, even though absolutely no one bet on him. So now they have the money, and they have the hyperdrive parts, and before the race, our good friend Liam Neeson did a bit of gambling with Watto. So now, the gambling with Watto means that he has now got ownership of Anakin Skywalker. They're all leaving Tatooine. They're leaving C-3PO behind with Watto and his mum. So all these cunts, they're fucking off to Coruscant now. So bye-bye Tatooine. Hello, Coruscant. But on the way, Anakin is really weird and flirty with Padme, considering he's like 7 and she's 19, I think. It's a bit of a weird one, but you know, we won't dwell on that. But before they take off to go to Coruscant, bloody Liam Neeson gets in a fight with Darth Maul, and no one really wins. And so he manages to escape and go to Coruscant. So yeah, good job, Darth Maul. So the gang lands on Coruscant and they have a little chat with Senator Palpatine, who is a super kind and friendly guy and would never do anything evil. So they land on Coruscant and 2 different jobs happen. One, the Queen goes off to chat to Senator Palpatine and finds out that the Chancellor of the Republic has no power, so she's a bit annoyed about that. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan and Liam Neeson go off to show Anakin to the Jedi Council. The only 2 important people on the Jedi Council are my old boy Yoda and Samuel L. Jackson. Those are the only 2 that matter. The rest are just, they die like babies. Spoilers. So they take Anakin to the council to try and get approval to train him in the ways of the Jedi. But unfortunately, he's too old. But while all that's happening, old Palpatine over here gets nominated to be the Supreme Chancellor, which is exciting. But none of that matters because they all decide, yeah, fuck it, let's go back to Naboo. So they go back to Naboo, and for some reason, they decide to take Anakin with them. So the gang decide they need help. So they go to talk to Boss Nass to get the help of the Gungans. And in that process, it turns out, shock, horror, Padme was the Queen the whole time. Anyway, there's a big old fight. For some reason, they decide to make Jar Jar a general of the army, and he manages to incompetently find his way through the war. They fight a load of droids, and while all that's going on, so these guys are helping the pilots to get their ships so they can go up and destroy the big old space station, because that's controlling all the droids that these 2 are fighting right now. However, when that happens, bloody Darth Maul shows up. He's got a double-ended lightsaber. They're having a fight. They fight for a bit, kills Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson is dead now. Obi-Wan's real sad about that, so they fight for a bit. Obi-Wan falls down a hole, he jumps up and cuts him in half, and he falls down the hole. And now Darth Maul's dead as well. So now it's just Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's the only survivor. So to everyone else, it looks like he killed 2 people. So while all that's happening, Anakin accidentally gets in his ship with R2-D2. And he flies up, accidentally destroys the whole thing by flying into it and shooting some stuff, and none of the droids really react to that. So all the droids are dead, these guys win the war. It's a big celebration for everyone. The Trade Federation is defeated, so they have a big old party on Naboo with everyone there, inexplicably, even the Jedi for some reason. Well, that's Phantom Menace. Moving on to Attack of the Clones. So, Attack of the Clones. We open with Padme's ship landing on Coruscant, with there's problems going on over there. So she's landing, everything's going well, and then, oh no, her ship blows up. But wait, she used a body double again, and no one predicted that, so she's completely fine and alive. So they go to talk to the Chancellor. He is talking to some Jedi. There were some others there, but once again, these were the only 2 talking. So he's chatting to them. The Jedi are basically saying there's not enough for them to defend all the Republic, which is a minor problem. And then Chancellor Palpatine finds out that Padme just nearly got assassinated. So the Chancellor's like, I want some protection on her. Guess who they send? It is Obi-Wan Kenobi, our boy, and a grown-up Anakin Skywalker. So they all go to Padme's quarters to look after her, and guess who's fucking back? It's fucking Jar Jar Binks. The amount of rage I felt looking at his face again, even though I was just looking at it. Phew. So Anakin is being super creepy towards Padme, like really creepy. That's basically all he's doing for like their first 5 minutes of interacting, apart from disobeying Obi-Wan as well. He's basically a terrible Jedi. So basically, Anakin wants to hunt down the assassin who tried to kill Padme, and Obi-Wan's just like, nah, we just gotta protect. While all this is happening, our old boy, Jango Fett, is talking to another assassin. He gives her some bugs to give to a robot to then inject into Padme's room that will then kill her. The bugs get into her bedroom while these two are chatting, and Anakin is also being really creepy, just sensing Padme's essence from another room. It is a really creepy film. He's a really creepy character. But anyway, they sense the bugs, they run in, they cut him up, they chase the assassin. These two, they're off chasing the assassin, you know. They're like zipping around like, woo, woo. They get the assassin in the end, and just as the assassin is about to tell them who hired her, this little boy up here shoots her with a dart, and she's dead. So these guys decide to go and tell the Jedi Council about what just happened. They're like, Anakin, you need to stay with Padme, which was a terrible idea, and look after her. So they take her back to Naboo. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan is sent off to find the killer. Padme leaves Jar Jar as her Naboo rep, basically, which was also a terrible idea. Obi-Wan goes to talk to his best friend, Dexter Jettster. Dexter Jettster says that the dart that was shot comes from Kamino, which is where the clones are, but that's a spoiler. And he finds out that Kamino doesn't exist. It's not on any of the star maps. But then he just goes there anyway and it's there. So he chats to the clone people about it for a bit and bumps into Jango Fett again. Pretends not to know who he is for a while. They get in a bit of a fight. He finds out that the clones are made for the Jedi. Jango escapes, he flies off to another planet, and everyone chases him. Off they go. Anakin, Padme, and R2 are heading to Naboo. They just chill there for a bit. They actually kiss, which was a bit weird. They kiss for a bit, and then they realise that Padme's like, oh no, we can't kiss, it's not allowed. You're a Jedi, you're not allowed to kiss people. And Anakin's like, but I'm horny! But then, you know, that's boring. They talk about that for way too long. You get bored of it. Obi-Wan flies to Geonosis, chasing this guy. When he gets to Geonosis, he has a little wander around, finds bloody Count Dooku, our new Sith bad guy, chatting to the Trade Federation guys from the last film. He's basically talking to them and a bunch of other people about combining their droid armies to then invade the Republic and win the war. And Obi-Wan's like, oh shit. So he goes to call Coruscant, but he can't quite reach it. He hasn't got enough signal range because he got in a fight with this guy in his ship and basically got damaged a bit. So instead, he decides to send a message to Anakin. Because Anakin's on Naboo, right? No, he's not. He's actually doing something else. So Anakin is on Naboo, or he was. He had a nightmare about his mum dying. So he gets understandably a little bit freaked out. So he says to Padme, I've got to go to Tatooine. So all three of them, go to Tatooine. Tatooine. So the three of them are on Tatooine. They go to talk to Watto. Where's my mum gone? Watto says, oh, he sold her because she's a slave. And the guy who bought her married her. So they go and talk to the guy. And while they're there, they pick up a C-3PO again. And they find out she was taken by Sand People. So Padme stays here, stays with the family, who I don't have pictures of. And Anakin goes to fight the Sand People. He's fighting Sand People. He's killing a fucking lot of them. And then he finds his mum, and she dies. So he kills the rest, comes back, and then complains about it to Padme for about 20 minutes. And then they get a message from Obi-Wan. So Obi-Wan sends them a message from Geonosis. So he's sending the message and he tells them to send it on to the Jedi Council on Coruscant. So they're doing that, and he basically says, there's loads of droids over here, we need help. And then he gets captured. Who does he get captured by? This guy. So now this guy's captured Obi-Wan, and these guys are like, we better go help, like right now. So meanwhile, on Coruscant, fucking Jar Jar decides to vote to give like emergency powers to the Supreme Chancellor so he can authorize the construction of a clone army to fight the droid army over here. So in these guys' rescue mission to save Obi-Wan, they also get captured. But while these guys have been captured, they have a little heart-to-heart and confess the fact they actually do love each other for some reason, and they kiss before they get put into the arena. So they're all captured by this guy, they're being held in some sort of arena, and it looks like it's over for them. But wait, bloody Samuel L. Jackson shows up with a fuckload of Jedi. So they're all fighting those droids, they're fighting, and then eventually, you know, they lose. But before they lose, Samuel L. Jackson pulls off a sick fucking move, decapitates Jango Fett. He's dead now. So these guys are fighting all the droids. All the Jedi are fighting all the droids. But unfortunately, just not enough of them. But then luckily, right before they all die, bloody Yoda shows up with a fuckload of these guys, clone warriors. So they fight them all off. Padme's helping with that, and these two are off to fight this guy. They have a big old lightsaber fight. Anakin gets his arm cut off, so he's out of the game. Obi-Wan nearly gets crushed, so he's out of the game. And then Yoda shows up with no clones, it's just Yoda. They have a bit of a fight, and Dooku escapes somehow, even though Yoda is clearly better than him. In every single fight they have, he's like, clearly better. But Dooku escapes, so he has escaped, and off he goes, he's flown away. And Yoda just sits and chats to these guys for a bit. So in the last bit, there's basically three things going on. These two chat about the war, they think it's going their way, when it's obviously not, they've got clones now. The Jedi decide they need to keep a close eye on the Senate because now they have a clone army and they need to be concerned. And yes, that will come back later. And these two, they go off and get married. They just have a nice time. They go off and get married. Anakin has a robot arm now. And yeah, that's Attack of the Clones. So there's a massive spaceship fight at the start of Revenge of the Sith over Coruscant. Why are they fighting? It's actually very complicated why they're fighting. So, Count Dooku, with the help of General Grievous, under the orders of the guy who's nasty, have captured the Chancellor. Guess who they sent to get him back? That's right, it's Obi-Wan and his apprentice, Anakin, with a cool new haircut. Look at how sexy his hair is. He looks like Prince Charming. If only he acted like Prince Charming. Dooku's the one looking after him mostly. So they have a fight, and Anakin cuts off Dooku's head. And good old Palpatine was like, do it! They all get captured by General Grievous and his best friends. His best friends are these guys. They're robots. So they manage to escape because, of course, they're the good guys. So, you know, they've escaped this guy. This guy's not really there either. They managed to crash land the big old spaceship on Coruscant. No consequences from that. They get the Chancellor back, and then, of course, Anakin has a chat with someone very important. He has a chat with Padme. Turns out, they've been fucking. They've been fucking a lot, and they've been fucking so much, she's now pregnant. And at first, he's super excited, and he realizes the consequences. And those consequences are, he's a Jedi and he's having a baby. Not good. So while they're having this lovely, wholesome discussion, Grievous and all his friends have a chat with Sidious, nasty man, and Sidious basically says, you need to go to this planet. And he's like, all right, so he goes to the planet. I don't know what the name of the planet is. So these guys are off just having problems because they're married, and that's all that marriage is. While these guys, the Jedi Council, the only important ones, realize that the Senate giving this guy more power, and they're a bit like, oh no, if he has too much power, he might not give it back. None of them talk with that accent, except Yoda. Yoda actually talks with that accent, exactly. Don't watch the film. That's all you need to know. So they find that out and they're a bit like, ooh, we need to worry about that. And while that's happening, he's having a nightmare about Padme dying in childbirth. And we all remember the last time he had a nightmare about someone dying. His mum died. He doesn't worry about it too much. He goes to have a chat with Palpatine about it because he's feeling a bit stressed. And Palpatine's like, you know what? I'd like you to be my representative on the council because we're buds. Because at some point between these two movies, they had a nice chat about being friends. So Anakin goes to tell the council that, and the council are like, yeah, I don't know that, but we're going to let you do it anyway. And he's like, hell yeah, I'm going to be a Jedi Master now. And they're like, oh, no, you're going to be on the council, but you're not going to be a Master. And he, fucking fuming at that. And he's also fuming because they're basically saying, oh, we'll get you to spy on Palpatine and make sure he's not doing anything evil, because he might be evil. So Anakin goes to have a chat with Palpatine about it. And immediately Palpatine's like, yeah, I know they're going to spy on me. Let's talk for a bit about Darth Plagueis the Wise. So he spends about 5 minutes talking about this ancient Sith Master who could save people from dying because he knows Anakin's worried about Padme dying. And now Anakin's a bit like, oh, maybe the dark side's not so bad. Yoda decides to take some clones and help fight some Wookiees. No, wait, no. Help the Wookiees fight some droids. Obi-Wan chases down General Grievous. So he goes to fight General Grievous and all of his friends. He actually has more friends. He's got these guys from the first film. Do you remember them? The Trade Federation? He's also teamed up. The General gets orders from old Sidious to send these guys to Mustafar, which is a different planet. So they're off doing Mustafar. So these two, they have a bit of a fight. In the end, everyone just shoots him with a blaster right in the chest. It catches fire. His eyes explode. It's quite cool, actually. And he's dead. So it's just a clones v droid situation, and everyone's just kind of like flipping about, helping out. He's riding an animal, you know. He's just having a good time. He's like, I'm nearly 40. I'm going to be retiring soon. I'm just having a good time. So Anakin and Palpatine are having a little chat. And Palpatine's like manipulating, being all subtle, and then just straight up says that he's a Sith Lord. He was being so subtle, and now he's a Sith Lord. Because this whole time, it turns out these two were the same person. Wow! You're an asshole, you're a Sith Lord. I'm going to go report you to my friends, the Jedi, because he thinks they're his friends. Unfortunately, all of his friends on the Jedi Council aren't there. It's just Samuel L. Jackson, who doesn't particularly like him. Samuel L. Jackson's like, you know what? I will trust you if you do not get involved with this whatsoever. And Anakin's like, but I want to be involved. So Mace Windu takes a bunch of Jedi to fight Palp/Sidious. And they're fighting, and Anakin's like, wait a minute. This guy said he could save Padme. I've got to stop him. So just before before Samuel L. Jackson kills Sidious, Anakin jumps in, cuts off his arm, and then Sidious electrocutes him, and he's dead. So he killed Samuel L. Jackson. Palpatine is like, you know what, I'm going to call you Darth Vader now, because you're Darth Vader. So Anakin's like, all right, cool, so what do we do then? And he's like, we've got to kill all the Jedi, otherwise the Jedi will know what we're doing. So they send the clones, they do something amazing. They execute Order 66. So now all the clones are killing all the Jedi. It's actually a really good scene, in my opinion. It's my favourite scene from the whole beginning trilogy of all the Jedi being killed by the clones. Yoda and Obi-Wan manage to escape, and they meet up with a good friend of theirs. It's Senator Organa, who hasn't been important at all up until this point. So they're all hanging out, and while that's going on, this guy, a nice guy, who hasn't killed anyone ever, has just gone into the Jedi Temple and killed about 1,000 children. So after he's done killing all the good guys, he decides, he's sent by Darth Sidious to Mustafar, which I don't have a picture for, to kill all of the Trade Federation guys and all the Separatists. And so he does, he just massacres them. So he calls a special congress on Coruscant, and he basically says, the Jedi are evil, I'm a good guy, we're making the Republic into an empire, and everyone's like, yeah! Woo! Empire! Woo! Do you know who's not happy? Padme. The good guy gang go to the Jedi Temple. Yoda's like, they go to basically view the footage and see what the fuck is going on. They discover that Anakin killed all the children. So everyone's like, oh, I don't want to fight Anakin. And Yoda's like, you gotta, because I'm not going to do it. I'm fighting someone who's better. And everyone's like, all right, cool. So then he flies over to chat to Padme about where Anakin is, and basically tells her all that's happened. And she's like, I don't believe it. But she hops in a ship. You know, she's hopped in a ship. She's taking her best friend, C-3PO, to go and talk to Anakin on Mustafar. And everyone's like, I knew this would happen. I'm going to stow away. Yoda has come to fight Sidious. They have a bit of a fight, you know, whoosh, 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 whoosh. They're flipping about all over the place. They're flinging their lightsabers. They're doing lightning. They're doing all sorts. And in the end, Yoda's about to win and decides to leave. He just leaves and he goes off to hang out with Organa again. And Sidious is like, yeah. So they all land on Mustafar. Padme has a chat with Anakin. C-3PO isn't really involved. Don't know why I put him over here. Let's just say he's over here now. We'll just put him over here because he ends up over there. So they're having a chat. She's very concerned because he's being very fascist and like, it's an empire, we can rule it, we can do whatever we want. And then Obi-Wan hops out and he's like, you fucking brought Obi-Wan here, you cunt. And force chokes her. She pretty much dies, but she's not dead yet. She's hanging on. She's nearly dead, but she's not quite dead. So these two, they have a bit of a lightsaber fight. Goes all over the place. It's actually pretty well choreographed. I quite like it. About 10 minutes later, because it's a long, long fight, Obi-Wan has the high ground over Anakin. Anakin tries to flip up over him. Obi-Wan cuts his fucking legs off and another arm, so now he's got no limbs. This is probably important, I should have mentioned it earlier, but Mustafa's covered in lava. So he lands right next to a lava lake, and then he catches fire and starts burning alive. Everyone just leaves him there, burning to death. This little gang help, because Padme needs to give birth quickly because she's dying from a broken heart or whatever. So they're helping her give birth. Meanwhile, Darth Sidious has picked up Anakin, who's completely fucked up, and is like, I'm going to make you into a robot. So Darth Sidious is making Anakin into this guy, Darth Vader, and it's nice, cool. It's cool that you can see Darth Sidious there, Anakin there. He's cool. Meanwhile, Padme over here gives birth to Luke and Leia. Leia is given to Organa to look after and take to Alderaan. Luke is given to Obi-Wan to take to Tatooine and look after. Yoda just fucks off somewhere. C-3PO gets his mind wiped, and Padme dies. And now there's a big old empire where these two, Anakin's not here anymore, it's Darth Vader and Lord Sidious. Big old empire with loads of fucking clones. And yeah, they win. They've won. And that is the prequel trilogy. And that's where we will leave it today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Tell me what film to do next, because I am not doing the original trilogy next. I'm not fucking doing it. Because that, oh God, this took so long. I've been doing this for about 2 months. Fucking hell. So yeah, suggest a small film, just a single film to do. No, that's that. I'm just gonna take all my clothes off. That's a wrap.